Ah, my good friend Trevor.
How you doing?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. You're under the hot lights
This morning?
this morning. Absolutely. Apparently, someone in the organization convinced you, threatened you, blackmailed you to have this interview. Who's that person?
Carmi.
Oh my goodness! Yes, it had to
She
be.
told me she wouldn't invite me to the cricket box if I don't give this interview.
Yes,
so-
you know what
so I had
happens
to do it,
sometimes.
yeah.
But again, thank you. We're going to have some fun.
I went to university in 1982 and I decided to pursue a degree in electrical engineering. So when I went into my third year, I specifically chose some courses that I thought would put me in a good position that if I decided to come back and work in Saint Lucia, that LUCELEC would perhaps be the employer of choice for me. So I joined as a trainee engineer on the 1st of January 1986, having graduated in June of 1985.
What were your reactions when you were told that you were shortlisted or earmarked to be the managing director of LUCELEC?
Yeah, when I think back on it, it's almost like a blur, you know. But it was a long process. Like I said, when I came on as a trainee engineer, I spent almost 2 years working through every department in the organization. So I worked in all of the engineering departments, I worked in all of the administrative departments, and the last part of my attachment, was with the managing director at the time. I was actually assigned to him for two weeks.
What would you say were the golden nuggets that you got out of, you said, the previous managing director, who is Bernard Thibaults, and I believe your mentor?
He was a very sort of no-nonsense kind of person. But there are two things that I took from him: accountability and delegation. He always felt that you needed to do things either with people or through people. So he was always delegating things to people, but holding them accountable for delivering on whatever it was that he delegated to them. The company agreed to send me off to Anguilla on an 18-month attachment.
At Anglec?
Anglec, as the general manager there. And I think it was at that point in time that it started to click for me that there may be a possibility that I could become the next managing director of LUCELEC. And when I came back, I was appointed as chief engineer, and then eventually as the managing director of LUCELEC in January of 2004. Yeah, well, as a young engineer, when we came to this site, it was all swampland. And the property belonged to Hair Soil at the time. Hair Soil, through arrangements with government, passed the property onto us. And we actually commissioned the first engines in 1991. And the station has grown over the years. The last engine was installed in 2012. We have approximately 86 megawatts of capacity.
Greatest challenge, if you had to pick one out of the air, what would that be?
One of the greatest challenges, and it's something that I'm happy to say I think we have overcome that challenge in a significant way, was when I joined the company, we were going through a phase where the infrastructure was in a condition where it was simply not the best. There were a lot of outages on the system, not just because of the distribution system that we have there, but even in our power stations as well. And I had embarked on a program very early in my career in LUCELEC in terms of coming up with a plan to rebuild the entire distribution system around the company. And I think we were able to accomplish that in over a 5-year period. And we were able to get the staff, the other engineers, the other supervisors into that mindset where we need to be more proactive. Don't wait for things to break down. develop plans so that you can continue to maintain the integrity of your system.
So let me just move a little from a lot of the LUCELEC and the wires and the power. I understand that not only are you a cricket enthusiast, although our boys aren't doing as well as we'd like to, but you're also a cricketer in your own right. What were you, a batter, a bowler?
I think I was more of an all-rounder. I enjoyed bowling initially, and after a while I felt, well, you can't be bowling for so long, and then when you go into bat, you give up your wicket quickly. So I developed into a fairly good, a decent all-rounder. Put it that way.
0-2 behind it because you are our second MD. They didn't do too well this year, but you can still wear it right.
What did this particular box and this stadium and the moment mean for you as a corporate leader?
But I think, LUCELEC always prides in its responsibility as it relates to corporate social responsibility. And once there was the opportunity for us to take a box, we did that, and we saw it as an opportunity where we could invite staff, to watch games, customers.
How did sports, you being an athlete, how did that serve to shape your outlook on life?
So you're talking about the need for dedication, commitment, discipline, endurance,
teamwork,
setting goals, teamwork, being the captain of a team and having to make decisions,
So you have
for the team.
You had early management experience.
I would say early leadership.
Yes.
Early leadership experience, and I've been fortunate in the last maybe 5 to 8 years to do some leadership programs, and virtually everything that I've been exposed to in these leadership programs, I can relate it back to those foundational years.
In a very practical way.
In a very practical way.
I have a few quick fire ones for you. Greatest batsman of all time?
In my lifetime, at least up to now, I think the greatest batsman has been Sachin Tendulkar. However, my favorite batsman is Sir Vivian Richards.
Greatest bowler?
Again, 2. I think the greatest bowler for me has been Sir Andy Roberts. You could always see him thinking when he was bowling. But my favorite was Michael Holden.
Bouillon or green fig and saltfish?
That's a hard question. I will say both.
You mix them together?
Well, not mix them together, but
yes.
I enjoy both of these. Yes. Both of these dishes.
Solid contenders for
That's
your
right.
palate there, I can see. Loveliest place you've ever visited?
I would say Cuba.
Interesting.
And I want to go back because I don't think that I spent enough time there. There's a lot of history there, a lot of history.
The life of an MD can take him away from family for a very long time. Any regrets, and what would you do differently? And maybe what's your advice for whoever's coming into the helm of the organization?
One thing that I would do differently is to make sure that there was better work-life balance. I think the family paid a bit of a price, and so in retirement, that's one of the things that I want to do. I want to make sure my kids are all grown now, all in different places, and a couple of grandkids. So I want to make sure that I can spend some real quality time with them.
At the time of this interview, we're at your last few days in the organization. What are your emotions? What are your thoughts? What's rushing through your mind and heart?
It's mixed emotions. I feel fairly comfortable and relaxed about exiting now. I think the company is in a good position. They're very good employees in the organization for the most part. I think my successor is well placed to continue in terms of the the development of the organization, the standards that we have set in the organization, and even seek to improve on some of these things. So I'm happy from that perspective. Sad because I've made a lot of friends in the organization over the years. I mean, at one point in time, I knew virtually every employee by their first name. That has changed.
The people of LUCELEC, I believe, are quite a special bunch and very important, I'm sure, to your success here in the organization. What do you think this means to a managing director to build the sorts of links and alliances with not just the management team, but their staff generally?
I think it's very important. You have to, whatever it is you believe in, you have to demonstrate it through your actions. And I have always tried to be one that has made time for staff, regardless the level they are in the organization. So the staff will tell you at this office at Saint Lucian, I generally tend to walk the floor. So instead of calling somebody on the other side of the building, I would walk across to their office, or I would walk downstairs. And just by doing that, you get to meet staff along the way. You talk to them. I would go down to cul-de-sac and, just walk the compound, go to the various offices, have a quick chat with people. And sometimes that's how you get to know some of the challenges or problems that the company is facing that's probably not escalated all the way up to you. So in about 2003, just when I became a board member of Carrileck, we purchased the building on the left from Cable and Wireless at the time. They had moved up to Corinth, and we've occupied that building for a number of years. Strange enough, the first tenant is going to be LUCELEC. The sole purpose of Carrileck was to encourage collaboration among the power/energy utilities in the region.
Was Gilroy Pulte someone that you mentored as well?
He came in a few years after me, but I've always seen him as an individual that had a lot of potential. He's a very bright individual, an Island scholar, if you didn't know. And what I've seen him grow over the years and develop, and I think he's well poised to take this company well into the future. He may tell you that I've probably been a mentor to him over the years, and it's perhaps not through any deliberate act.
So 2 bits of advice that you would give first to him and then to the staff about him.
To him, I would say continue to remain humble. To the staff, I would say give him a fair opportunity.
What's next for Trevor?
What's next? Nothing definitive for the next 3 months. I have said I just want to take it easy for the next 3 months because of the positions that I have been in when I joined the company. I've literally been on call or having to be available on call for the last maybe 35 years. I may not have been on a roster, but depending on what happened, if they called me, I had to respond. So subconsciously that puts some kind of pressure on you. Hopefully come Saturday morning when I wake up, I can say, okay, that pressure is no longer there. So that's why I say I just want 3 months, just to, like you'd say, maybe shoot the breeze, just take it easy. There are some other things that I'm involved in. I'm still the president of the Chamber of Commerce, so I'll be able to put a little more time into that. And I don't think I'm letting the cat out of the bag, but the Prime Minister and Minister King have asked me to chair WASCO, and I recently agreed to undertake that responsibility.
That's a big deal in its own.
So hoping that some of what is being done at LUCELEC can be transitioned to WASCO. So that in itself is a mammoth task, but I think there's some contributions that I can make there. Au revoir.